Alright, good morning everyone and welcome to the stream. How's everyone doing today? I hope I find you all well. I hope you're ready for a fun day of streams. Another fun double streaming day. And I hope that you guys will have a good time with me as I do a nice variety of stuff today on the streams. Today is actually the 16th, of October 2021, and I'm Darkside Phil, and I welcome you here. What's up? We're having some interesting discussions on the pre-stream today. We're talking about how stuff in the 80s and 90s that was in movies would never fly in the modern era. How culture has changed so hugely. We're talking about a movie like Mrs. Doubtfire. It's a movie where a guy basically, who's not a very good dad, loses custody of his kids. So he pretends to be a nanny, an older woman, an older British woman. And he dresses up in costume to try to pretend to be a nanny to stay with his kids. And we're like, man, the modern day, how would that, pan out? Like, back in the 90s, it was a comedy, right? It was a hilarious comedy, as Robin Williams pretended to be a British woman. But today, it would be like a horror movie, right? Seriously, it would be like, a man on the edge. Lost all control. Nothing will stop him from spending time with his kids. He's become mentally unstable. And he becomes the woman. In his mind, he is the nanny. And he believes that he really is he never takes off the suit. Never. He sleeps in the suit. He bathes in the suit. Yes. And then at the end of the movie, when finally it is revealed that he is actually the father, he snaps, he has a mental break. And he goes on a slasher spree in the house, killing the family. The police show up, and he's baking a roast in the oven, and he opens the oven, and his family's bodies are in the oven. And the police unload and blow him away in the kitchen. Like, what the fuck? That's how crazy, how crazy things change over time. Like, how could you have a movie like Mrs. Doubtfire today, right? You want to talk about cancel culture. Holy shit, they go right after that. I mean, you got cultural appropriation, you got gender appropriation, you got every offensive thing possible. And I was talking with the stream chat about this, and I was like, this is not the first time this has happened. This happens all the time. That culture changes over time, society changes, and then things that made sense during one different era or time period no longer make sense for the present. And I'll give you a perfect example that some of you might actually freak out about, okay? A few years ago, I was watching random holiday movies, okay? Just randomized holiday movies. Just trying to find stuff that was like free on demand for Christmas, okay? So there's this movie from many, many years ago, black and white comedy. It's called Holiday Inn, starring Bing Crosby, and I believe it's Fred Astaire. Bing Crosby was one of the biggest crooners, singers of the time. Fred Astaire, very famous dancer. And so they figured, this is like the dream team to make this movie because you got dancing and singing. It's like the best musical ever, okay? So the movie is about these two guys who were in, like, show business, but they decide they want to retire from show business and open up this resort with their money. And they want to have people come to the resort and stay there, but what they want to do is they want to have themed stuff at the resort for every different season. So literally they go from being like, stage performers, movie stars, to being like, I'm going to just, I'm going to entertain a small crowd of the hyper rich at this like mountain resort. Okay? So they start doing these, it's spring. So they come out with a cast of actors, and they're dancing around their resort, dressed up in like dresses and baskets and, it's springtime musical and stuff like that. And then it's Christmas, so they're dressed up for the holidays, they're dressed up like Santa, and, they're dancing around and everything, and they're basically, that's the movies. They're doing all these very elaborate musical numbers for their guests at the Holiday Inn. And, of course, there's all their drama and everything. Now, you might say, well, why are you bringing this up? What does this have to do with what you're saying? Well, there's actually an entire musical number where everyone is dressed up in blackface and everyone is pretending to basically be African American. And back then, there was no... that wasn't offensive. There was nothing wrong with that. Back then, that was common. Because in actual movies, it wasn't common to have African Americans in them. It was usually just white people, just being honest. That's how show business was back then. So to have white people, they're dressed up in blackface and doing a whole musical number was actually, that's nice that they're representing other cultures. I'm not kidding. Like, that's how it was seen back then. But today we look at that, we're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. These are some of the biggest, most prominent actors and show business people of the time doing this. And today that would be like the cancel culture mob comes out, and says, oh my God, that's so offensive. But that's what I mean, like, things change over time, Isn't it, the movie Gone with the Wind? So the movie Gone with the Wind is supposed to be about the South during the Civil War. And one of the main characters that's a recurring character is the house caretaker / nanny who's African American, but basically is that kind of down south kind of a stereotypical female character. I believe they call it the mammy, right? That's the character that they call it. Well, at the time, the actress who played this character won a ton of awards. Like, wow, what a great, heartwarming character. This character is actually the moral compass of the film. And, she, basically the first African-American actor who ever, won awards, ever, for a role in American cinema. Well, now, Gone with the Wind is canceled. They say, you can't watch that movie because it has a mammy in it. And a mammy is very, very offensive. It's like, but it's historically accurate. And the actress won awards for portraying that role as one of the best characters. By the way, everyone in Gone with the Wind is a scumbag, except the mammy. Like, every character is a terrible person, except that character. She's, the good character in the movie. But somehow that's canceled today. Oh, that's terrible that was in the movie. Like, wow. But anyway, you see what I'm saying? Like, things change over time. It was funny. We were just kind of discussing different things in the stream chat. A movie, The Santa Claus, all right? But only Tim Allen actually is not really Santa Claus. He's nuts. And he's convinced himself he's Santa. Just like Mrs. Doubtfire. He's convinced himself he's Santa, even though he's really not. And so he goes to the doctor. During the scene where he goes to the doctor, and the doctor's like, listen, what you're doing to yourself is unhealthy. It's crazy. You're out of your mind. You can't keep doing this. You're dyeing your hair. I can see remnants of dye in your hair. You're bleaching your hair, right? You're obviously wolfing down junk food to gain weight. You're going to kill yourself. You can't keep doing this. You're out of your mind. And Tim Allen insists. He's like, no, I'm not doing that. This is all really happening. It's natural, right? And so, at the end of the movie, he goes on a rampage. Why is it that all the modernized versions of classic 90s movies, the person goes on a rampage? Right? They're all horror movies now. There you go. Anyway, I don't know. We were just gabbing on the pre-stream. So what's up, everyone? How you doing? I hope everyone's having a good weekend. Today is Saturday, the 16th of October, 2021. And it is time for gaming goodness, as usual. It is time for the continuation of some of the playthroughs that I've been doing recently. And it should be fun. I don't know what's going to happen in the playthroughs today. Let's talk a little bit. We got Far Cry 6. And in this playthrough, for about 9 hours now, I've been working for a family called the Monteros, who hate, the dictator of the island. And they're trying to basically destroy his crops, which apparently is the one major thing that brings money to this dictatorship. Is these crops are grown on the tobacco. Like, they spray the tobacco with this chemical. And then apparently these crops become the major ingredient in cancer-curing drugs. So that's their major source of income. And so your job is to basically kind of destroy that income for them. But, man, we've seen ups and downs. We've seen people turn on the family. And now I believe we probably have a couple more missions. And we're heading into the home stretch of the missions for this family. Now, the island itself of Yara that you're in this game, this open-world tropical dictatorship, has 3 major plot lines to do. And where I feel like we're approaching the end of the first. So then after this, we'll probably head over to a different part of the island and start up a different plot line for another one of the families, and go from there. But I don't know how long it's going to take. I know that there's 2 story missions left. We're in the midst of one where we're trying to hunt down these 2 lieutenants and murder them, basically. And then there's at least one other story mission, and then maybe like the finale of this part. And I don't know how long that'll take. It's also not clear if the game will force you to take out all of the bases. In previous Far Cry games, they definitely did that. In previous Far Cry games, it basically was like a forced grinding, where you had to take out like all the bases in a region in order to clear that region. It's not clear if that's going to be the same in Far Cry 6 or not. If that's the case, I mean, it won't be that bad. At the same time, though, it would definitely be some grinding and time wasting to do that, obviously. So I guess we'll see. Personally, 9 hours in, I'm still loving the game. But admittedly, if they are going to force grinding, maybe this is where, for some people, it'll be like, ugh, gotta do this grindy shit again, right? For me, it hasn't felt like that. It's felt like every where I go around this island, there's fun, unique stuff to do, and we're unlocking cool stuff like the tank and the wingsuit and stuff like that. And I hope that we can keep up at that pace of interesting stuff, and that we don't end up being like forced repetition and boredom. You know, I don't want that, obviously. But we'll see today. Let's find out. A nice chill stream of Far Cry 6. I say chill because, you know, a game like this, open world, lots of open content, it allows us to interact a lot more and have conversation, as opposed to some other games that I've been playing recently where it really just takes my attention up constantly and I can't really talk with you guys too much. Like Back 4 Blood the other day, where people were trying to talk with me, and I'm like, guys, you have to understand, if I even turn to the stream chat to talk with you guys, I could get murdered at a moment's notice. You know, I got to pay attention to this game at all times when I'm playing it. And so that's certainly not the case with Far Cry 6. So we'll see what happens today. Should be a good time. Later tonight is the continuation of Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. You want to talk about a game that's been zany as hell? I mean, that game is nuts. Some of these stages on that game, I mean, the premise is so simple to the game. You know what I mean? It's so easy when you think about it on paper. You're a monkey in a ball, roll from point A to point B, hit the checkpoint, beat the stage. You know, and you're like, oh, okay. But in reality, it's just not that simple. Some of these stages are ridiculously complicated, and now we're in World 7 of 10, and some of the stages that we're coming across are, like, ridiculously over-the-top complicated, to the point where it's very stressful. Like, I'm spending 20, 30 minutes trying to beat a single stage sometimes, you know? Now, you guys have seemed to enjoy the playthrough because it is so stressful, I'm freaking out, you know, and you like my reactions when I fail, but I'm hoping that we can make solid progress tonight. I'm hoping that we don't end up, you know, an hour on one stage. I don't know how hard this game is going to get. I mean, we're in World 7, and some of these stages are, like, ridiculous, you know? So I guess we'll see tonight, firsthand, what's going on with Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. That's 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, by the way, guys. Okay? Tomorrow, it's the continuation of Back 4 Blood, and the cool thing about tomorrow is that we'll be finishing up the story-based campaign. We're going to do the entirety of Act 3, and then there's a big finale of Act 4, which is only one stage. If we end up wrapping that up, then we're going to swing over to the multiplayer. And in the multiplayer itself, we'll see, you know, what happens as you're playing either as the survivors or the zombies facing off against each other. I think they call it swarm mode in this game. So that'll be fun. And then later on this week, as long as everything goes according to plan here, what I may do is I may do some of my first ever co-op with actual members here in the chat. People who are interested in teaming up with me. I'm probably going to have people start to contact me behind the scenes, who are members, and say, hey, you know, I'd like to, you know, join you for some co-op. And what I'll probably do is play through the campaign again of the game, but this time on the harder difficulty, Veteran. And since at that point everyone will have played through the game at least once, we'll all have cards unlocked and new equipment unlocked and everything, so that when we go through it, it's you know, it's doable. When I tried to play Veteran the first run, it was impossible because you don't have anything unlocked. You're trying to play on a harder difficulty and you just get pummeled into paste, you know. So, more on that later in the week. Likely I will start working on that later in the week. I'll let, you know, people who are members know, hey, you got to contact me and we'll try to get the information set up and all of that. Okay? But anyway, tomorrow, the conclusion of the story of Back 4 Blood. We'll see how it ends. And then tomorrow night, the continuation of Lost Judgment, which I'm excited for because now we're finally going to focus on the story itself. I've basically done all the school stories as far as I can do them, and I've done a lot of the side content, but we're going to finally swing to the focusing on the story and trying to make progress in the story for a couple of streams. Okay? So hopefully within the next couple of streams, so I am going to be playing Lost Judgment twice this week. We'll actually get through a big segment of the story and you know, move on. So. Oh, really? Darkness just told me something interesting about this YouTube streaming. You know, keep in mind, guys, I've now been a full-time streamer on YouTube. I'm about to hit my 5th month anniversary. I started in May. So, you know, May to June, June to July, July to August, August, September, September to October. That's 5 months. Many of you will actually be hitting the 6th month of being a member here. And when you do, you should unlock the new Chat Crown badge. So those of you who are just starting up your 6th month as a member, I'm curious to see when your badges will convert over. But Darkness brings up an interesting point. He says it seems like it may be good to resub manually on YouTube, because you'll get a pop-up during the stream with a message. I'm on auto-renew, but it never shows up a pop-up on stream. Okay, now that's interesting. For those who don't understand what that means, back over on Twitch, the way it used to work was, it didn't matter how you subscribed to a channel, you would get every month a pop-up message that you would click on, and it would say, hey, you know, this person has resubscribed to the channel, and there would be a big hoopla about it. You know, it'd be like, oh, you know, sub-hype or whatever. Here on YouTube, apparently if you're on the auto-renew program, it auto-renews your membership, but you don't get that pop-up. You only get the pop-up if you manually renew. You see? So I didn't know that. So we're trying to learn. You know, we're learning. Listen, YouTube streaming is a whole different animal. Definitely it's improved over the past 5 months, all the different adjustments and things and tweaks that we've done here to make it better, for sure. But we're still learning. So that's some good information, Darkness. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. All right, so anyway, tomorrow, Back for Blood and Lost Judgment. On Monday, it'll be the continuation of Alan Wake Remastered, and I'm very excited for Monday. The reason being, we're going to be entering Episode 5, which, in my opinion, is the best episode in the entire game. I remember Episode 5, and if I'm remembering correctly, it gets absolutely nuts. Like, all hell breaks loose in Episode 5 of Alan Wake. It's actually the best episode of the game because it's so cool, the stuff that happens. So I hope you guys will join me for Episode 5 on Monday, as we're heading into the end game of the game, because there's 6 episodes. Okay? And then Monday night will be more Monkey Ball. Tuesday will be more Far Cry 6, continuing on with Lost Judgment. And then Wednesday, the final streaming day of the week, will likely be that day where I do some co-op with members in Back for Blood. And then Wednesday night will be more Monkey Ball. Now, here's the thing. After a full week of focusing in on these games, I'm hoping that I will be nearing the end of some of them. You know, maybe Alan Wake will be near the end. Maybe Monkey Ball will be near the end. I'm not sure. There is a new release coming out this Friday, because Thursday is my day off this week, by the way. This coming Friday, it's the release of the Dark Pictures anthology, House of Ashes, which is the new horror game from the makers of Until Dawn, as well as last year's Little Hope, you know. So I'm excited because last year's Little Hope was one of my favorite games of the year, actually. It was so well done as a horror game. But of course, these games are different every year. It's an anthology, which means the plot changes, the characters change. So I don't know how this game's going to turn out. I guess we're going to find out on Friday. But it's cool to have a brand new horror-themed game during the month, obviously. And then there is one more game that I'm interested in by the end of the month, and that's going to be Guardians of the Galaxy, which comes out Tuesday of not this coming week, but the week after. There are a few other releases in there, like there's Mario Party and stuff like that. But at this point, I think what I'd like to do is focus in on the stuff I'm doing and try to get as far as I can, because some of these playthroughs, for example, Far Cry, you know, Lost Judgment, these are going to be very lengthy games. And if I don't focus in on these to make progress in them, I'll never beat them. You know Far Cry, how fucking long these games are, right? So, so good stuff. And I absolutely hope that you guys will join me for all the fun stuff over the next week or so. Okay? A few odds and ends here, guys. We're now into the second half of October. Thanks for a great first half. I hope you guys have enjoyed all the holiday festivities, including all the horror-themed animations, the decorations, you know, all this fun stuff behind me. Ah! All this. Oh, look at it, a snake. There's a snake here. There's a purple spider. I'm too zoomed in. But all these I can't really see them because I'm too zoomed in. All these decorations here on stream that we have. Thank you for chilling with me this month, okay? As we head into the second half of the month, that's loud. I was like, what's that? Do you hear that, right? That's the shower next to me. And you may be saying, well, why is it so loud? Well, it's loud because now we're using the bathroom in our hallway instead of the bathroom on the other end of the house, because that shower over there is screwed up. But anyway, oh, there we go. Okay, I see. So it makes a loud noise when she's using the tub, but then when she turns on the shower, it's actually cool or lower. I see. That scared the crap out of me. I was like, why is this so loud? Anyway, so second half of October means that we head into the fun holiday Halloween festivities, and I still need you guys to participate in a few different ways. First of all, please continue to vote on the games that you guys would like to see me play during the Halloween Marathon event. Those polls are live right now on this channel, DSPGaming, on the community tab. They're public. You can vote on them. There's 2 different polls, by the way. And what's going to happen is I'm going to be playing 4 games that day. One of the games will be determined by members. So those of you who are channel members, you get to vote exclusively on a game and determine it for yourselves. Then there'll be 3 games determined by the public voting. Currently in the lead is Silent Hill, the original, as well as Five Nights at Freddy's sister location. So likely those games are going to be played. But the 3rd game is still in the running because it's basically going to be determined by, like, you know, the second place voting. So please keep voting if you have not yet. We're still going to have a determination of what the 4th and final game will be for that marathon. Okay? So I hope that you guys will vote if you haven't. Now, in addition to that, you can still vote on the Halloween costume that I'll be wearing as well. The categories include pop culture, comic books, fantasy, and Phil's Choice. And actually, on my day off coming up on Thursday, I'm going to be buying my Halloween costume. So depending on what you guys vote will directly determine what my Halloween costume is and what I'll be buying next week, okay? So please, vote some more. Your voting impacts directly what I'm going to be doing during the Halloween Marathon event, okay? And thank you very much to everyone who is participating in that way. I'd also like to remind everyone about the monthly member goals, although admittedly at this point we're halfway through the month and we have seen no progress whatsoever in channel memberships. And some people have been wondering, why is that? Why aren't we seeing any growth on the channel this month, for example? I give you a couple pretty good examples of why I think this is happening. You know, first of all, last month, people rallied because they really wanted to see the Halloween event happen. And that always happens. The Halloween event, people get very excited for. They want to see the marathon. So I guarantee you a few people probably became channel members just to make the marathon happen. Okay, so that's number one. Last month's goal, I think people liked more. But in addition, let's be honest about October. This October has been one of the most underwhelming Octobers for gaming in history. In the 13 years that I've been a content creator, I have not really seen an October this underwhelming and kind of dead for games. I mean, am I playing a bunch of new releases? Yes. But let's take a look at the new releases I'm playing, okay? Alan Wake Remastered. It's a remaster of an 11-year-old game. Back 4 Blood. It's the spiritual successor to an 11-year-old game. Far Cry 6. It's the 6th in a series of games that almost play exactly the same every single iteration. Lost Judgment, a sequel to a game from a few years ago that's the same as a lot of games in that franchise. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm getting at? Super Monkey Ball. It's a remake of a game from the early 2000s. These are the games I'm playing in October. You see? This is the opposite of what it usually is. October usually is the month that's chock full of brand new, hyped up AAA releases that everyone is excited for, and they call it Broketober, right? But this year, I don't think so. I actually think this year it's the opposite, where there's not that much going on in October. It's actually an underwhelming month because a lot of the games that had been hyped and or games that people were anticipating to come out in the fall have all been delayed to 2022, right? So because of that, you take a look at everything, you're like, wow, this is actually pretty underwhelming. I have to agree with you. Now, here's the thing. The good news about this is, because I don't just focus on the games, because we have fun, interactive streams, these streams are going well. We're having a chill time. We're having a good time. But take a look at the attendance, guys, We're not even getting that many people on the streams right now because there's really nothing going on in the realm of putting butts in seats. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing exciting happening in the realm of gaming. It's kind of like, I'll come by and I'll chill with Phil and Far Cry today, but it's no big deal, you see? And I kind of have to agree with you. Listen, my streams are a fun and chill time, but certainly if you miss out on one of these streams of these games I'm playing right now, it's not like you're missing out on some ginormous event because it's not a big new release. There are no big new releases right now, you see? So I'm taking a look at this month. I'm like, gee, I wonder why members aren't going up. Well, why do you think? Because the regulars are all here. The regulars are already members. And everyone else is just kind of like, meh, I hope that there's some better games coming out, you know? So what are some things that maybe will reinvigorate people? I would argue that if this collection of GTA comes out, and if the Grand Theft Auto collection actually has modernized graphics, better controls and stuff, that might actually be very exciting. And people might actually get super pumped to see me replay GTAs in a more modernized way, okay? Whenever I play GTA, usually people absolutely enjoy it. So it'd be even extra cool to now be replaying these games with better graphics in this collection, right? I would also say that multiplayer games, for example, if I get Battlefield, right? When I get Halo, when I get these games that are multiplayer settings and I'm playing against people all around the world, and, you know, that might actually get some people excited, too, to jump on and watch me play and either fail or do well or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But basically, to me, I look at everything right now and I'm like, nah, I understand why it's not so exciting. I totally get it. But I'm happy for those of you who are here every day and who are chilling with me. Now, if you're not currently a channel member, all right, I would urge that you should become one. And here's why. First of all, it's cheap. It's $4 to become a channel member here on YouTube. It's cheaper than it used to be on Twitch, okay? By the way, I get more of a cut of channel memberships here than I did over on Twitch. Which is nice, that I get more of the support that you guys lend me, right? All the benefits you get as a member, I mean, my God, there's so many at this point. You get a highlighted name in chat. You get access to all of my emotes. You don't have to abide by the slow mode rules, so you can talk as much as you want. You get a chat crown badge to show how long you've been a supporter. You get priority access to all the special events. So, for example, as I've already mentioned, you know, nomination and voting on games for the upcoming Halloween event. All the members got priority with that. Members are going to have the opportunity to join me for co-op and Back for Blood. Members last month got to ask their questions on my Q&A show, Ask the King, and many members got their questions directly answered on the show. And these kind of benefits will continue in the future. Being a channel member is going to be very beneficial to you if you want to have extra participation in the streams and the content, you see? So there you go. So I hope that if you're not a member, you would become one, okay? I see many people in the stream every day that aren't members. And when I ask them, why aren't you a member? They say they hate my guts. They say I'm a terrible person. They hate my guts, and they wish that I would be shot off in a rocket off the planet. And I cry when they say these things to me. I really do. I may not, maybe not outwardly, but internally I cry when people say nasty things about me. They make me very upset. So I understand why some of you are here just to laugh at me and make fun of me, and you don't want to support the channel. But for those of you who do like the content, I hope that you would support the channel. Okay? Please become a member if you can. This month, if we get 325 members, we're going to be doing something very special, okay? We're going to have a special late-night stream where we're going to go on Amazon.com, and we're going to look at hats together. And together, we're going to find and pick a hat that I will purchase, and it will become a part of the hats that I will wear on my streams. I think it would be pretty neat because it's not, you know, something different from gameplay that we'll do together. And we'll find something special together that can become an active part of the streams moving forward. I figured this would be something cool to do. Okay? But that, we need to hit 325 members. Now, at the beginning of this month, we were at 296. So we were actually quite close. I was like, wow, less than 20 members, we're going to do it. And all of a sudden, membership waned, and now we're down to 273. And it's like, well, I can't really do much about that. You know, I'm not going to move the goalpost, as they say, because then what's the point? What's the point of moving the goalpost if I'm trying to create growth on the channel and then I don't? Well, you know, there's no point, you see? So please, if you're not a member, I would say if you can, please become a member, all right? I'm not saying if you can't become a member, you can't afford it, if, you know, no big deal there. My streams are free, there always will be, that's the point. But if you can become a member, please become a member. I want to pick out a new hat with you guys, you know? Now, there actually was a Tier 2 members reward, too, because it looked like we were doing so well with memberships. I set it up that if we had 350 memberships this month, I would actually bring back the Viewer's Choice event. And if you don't know what that is, that's an event where you guys nominate and vote on games that become full playthroughs on my streams. Some of the games in the past that this has happened with and became very successful were the Yakuza franchise, the Persona franchise, various Sonic games, including Sonic 06, Fallout New Vegas, which was just a summer-long chill playthrough, the Danganronpa series of visual novels, Super Mario Sunshine, the Spyro series. Like, I could keep going. Like, these are all games that you guys picked over the years for me to play as part of, like, Viewer's Choice events. So, I'm very excited to bring this event back. I want to bring this event back. I feel like it would actually be very exciting if we did so. But we need, like, 75 members. And at this point, I'm being honest with all of you, when I'm only bringing in, like, between 200 viewers on a stream because there's really nothing really going on in the realm of new releases, it's pretty hard to bring in 75 new members. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would be one thing if we were in the midst of big-ass new releases, people were coming to the streams in droves to watch me play them. It's kind of the opposite. It's basically just the regulars here every day, which I'm okay with. I love chilling with you guys and having a regular audience. I mean, holy crap, that's my life's blood is people who like being with me and hanging out with me no matter what I'm doing or what I'm playing. But you gotta understand, it's very hard to get growth when there's nothing going on in the realm of gaming and you're a gamer. You see what I'm saying? So thanks. Thanks to those who are still chilling with me. Thanks to those who are hanging in there. I do feel that maybe, you know, late next week with the Dark Pictures anthology continuing, we'll get some interest there. In the month of November, like I said, we've got some multiplayer stuff going on. And if this GTA trilogy actually does release in November as rumored, I think we might get some much needed attention here on the channel. But if you want my honest opinion, do you want my honest opinion? I don't think that the GTA trilogy is coming out in November. This just doesn't sound realistic to me. You're telling me there's a remake trilogy of GTA. There's zero footage of it anywhere on the internet. There's no information that's confirmed about it. All we know is that it exists. And yet, somehow it's coming out in less than a month. Do you really believe that? I don't know if I believe that. I mean, maybe this is the best kept secret in gaming. Maybe it is. I don't know. But I would be shocked. Absolutely shocked. If this collection actually came out on like November 11th or whatever the rumor is. I'd be like, what? I almost guarantee you this collection is going to end up coming out next year. Just like everything else. Right? All the other big releases are coming out next year. I guarantee you this collection is also going to come out next year. I can't imagine it coming out next month. It would be great if it did, but I can't imagine it coming out next month. So. Hoo boy. Darziak says he got an email about it. But what was the email? It just confirmed that it existed, right? It just confirmed that it existed. It didn't say, oh, here's the release date, here's what's in it, here's footage. None of that happened yet. It's, you know what I mean? So, I guess we'll see. Anyway. So, guys, thank you in advance for any contributions on my streams. I'm an independent content creator, and what that means is that I do not have any sponsorships or partnerships with anybody. My content is 100% independent. What that also means is that when you watch my content, my streams, I'm always honest with you guys when it comes to the games and stuff that I'm playing. I don't have to pull my punches. I don't have to kiss a game's butt because I'm shilling for a company. I don't have to watch what I say because I might piss off a sponsor. Instead, I can be completely transparent and honest with you guys when it comes down to games that I'm playing. I can tell you my honest opinion on stuff, and you guys like that. For 13 years, I have been the person on the internet that you can trust when it comes to telling you what I really feel about a game that I'm playing, okay? And I really appreciate the fact that for 13 years, you guys have watched my content and you support me and my efforts to keep doing it. Because I don't have these sponsorships or partnerships, I don't get stuff for free. I just like you guys, I play games on release day after buying them myself because I don't have... I'm not one of the featured, preferred content creators that kisses everyone's butt. You know what I'm saying? Quite the opposite. I'm the person that they don't want to play their game because I'm honest about it. You know what I mean? But that being said, because you guys like what I do so much, and you crowdfund my efforts to do it, I can do this for a living. Unlike many other content creators who full-time make content, but then they have to basically watch what they say, pull their punches, and do paid advertisements, I don't have to do that because you guys give me the freedom to do what I love without having to be a shill. Thank you for that. I'm not a shill. I would not be able to live with myself if I was constantly having to plug stuff and push stuff. I really, really appreciate that. Okay? So that being said, if you like this style of content that's different from a lot of other content creators, and if you want to see it continue, please consider contributing via one of the methods I'm about to outline here on the stream. Okay? First of all, we already talked about memberships, and I feel like I don't need to go into detail about it again. Please become a channel member if you're a frequenter of my content and you like it and you can support the channel in a consistent way. Being a member is a great way to do that, okay? Also, there's what's called super chats or super stickers. And if you don't know what those are ways that you can contribute to the stream through YouTube itself. Those are contributions that when you do them, you get a pop-up message in the chat as a way of saying, hey, thanks for contributing. It's a way that highlights your contribution, you see. Hold on one second, because I'm going to turn off my lamp. Now the sun has come out full blast. And since the sun came out full blast, there's absolutely no reason for me to have the lamp on. I'm actually going to stand up and stretch a bit, too. Oh, body's a little, what do you call it? Little sore, a little stiff. I need to stretch the muscles and get the blood pumping, as they say. So anyway, guys, yes, super chats and super stickers are great ways that you can contribute to the stream. If you do a membership or a super chat or a super sticker, these are great ways to support the stream. I'm jumping up and down right now. There's a great ways to support the stream in the long term. And what I mean by that is I get that support in about a month's time. It's behind the scenes contributions that really help me because they're essentially the equivalent of subscribers and cheering over on Twitch, you know, and that was consistent income that I had over on Twitch that allowed me to kind of say, oh, I know I'm getting this every month and this is great. And that was, you know, some of the stuff that paid for some of my biggest financial responsibilities, like my mortgage and stuff like that, you know. Now, if you want to contribute in the best way possible, the best way to contribute and support the stream is by tipping me, okay? When you tip me, a few things happen. Number one, when you send a tip, I get more of a tip than any other contribution. There's always a middleman involved when it comes to supporting someone on a stream, just be honest here, and the middleman takes a cut. Well, when you send me a tip via PayPal, less of a cut is taken than, say, for example, if you were to do those other methods of contribution. Number two, when you tip me, I get it immediately. So a tip can be immediately be put towards something important, like a bill, a cost of a game, you know, groceries, all kinds of stuff, right? So thank you in advance to anyone who contributes in any way, but tips are preferred because of those things I just mentioned. How do you tip? You can look at the description of this stream, or you can type !tip into the stream chat to bring up the link to do so, okay? Since tips are so important, we actually have reward tiers in effect for tips. If you raise $50 in tips on a particular stream, I'll put on Gunner glasses. If you raise $100 in tips, I'll put on a hat. Now today I'm playing Far Cry 6. I will be wearing headphones today, and that means that certain hats are eligible, the camo, the digital, or the fake hair hat, okay? Because I'm wearing headphones, I have to wear a hat that I can wear headphones with. And if we raise the full tips amount, which is $150 per stream, I'll put on a vest of your choice. All vests today are eligible. The red, the platinum, the denim, and the gold, the four most selected vests. However, we have not worn a vest in a few days now. It would be great if maybe we could today. We'll see what happens today. Maybe we can hit the tips goal. It would be great if we did. Okay? All right. All that being said, I think it's time for shout-outs. Okay? So first of all, let's do a shout-out to everyone who contributed via YouTube itself. We have NewTube, who became a 6-month channel supporter. Now, NewTube, this is interesting. NewTube, are you in the chat? The reason I ask you this is because as a 6-month-in-a-row supporter, I'm curious to see if your chat crown has upgraded to be encrusted with the rubies and emeralds and stuff. Because once you become the 6-month supporter, it should technically upgrade. But I don't know how quickly YouTube does it. If they do it immediately. I don't think it upgraded. Nah, it looks like it's still the regular golden crown. Well, that's disappointing. I was hoping to see it. So I don't know, how long it's going to take YouTube to update that. But you should, the way that it works on YouTube is I believe when you start the next month is when you hit the milestone and you get the new thing. I think. That's when people were actually just starting their second month as a member, they were getting the silver crown. Like right away they were getting it. So I'm curious when that will happen. Maybe it takes a day or something. Yeah, see, here you go. The Danimal says, today was my 1-month anniversary and my crown turned bluish. Yes, that's supposed to be like silver. See? So you think it should do that. But I don't know. I'm interested to see when it actually will update because it's supposed to. And by the way, yes, it is set up. I did confirm. I looked into it and everything. Yeah, it's set up that you're supposed to get a new crown at the 6-month point. So hopefully we'll see it. I hope so. Maybe we take a day or two, but hopefully we'll see it. Gray Fox RJ has become a 3-month member and says extreme ups to Snowcarl, Nepper, Ashen, and Ardnas. There you go. Thank you very much. Darkness became a 5-month supporter and says, actually, Local Nomad says there is a way. So there you go. Apparently, Darkness found a way to do the shout out for becoming a member even though you're on auto renew. I don't know how he figured it out because I don't know about that. But apparently there is a way to do it if you're on auto renew. So all that we said earlier, you completely wipe that from your brains. It's not true. I was completely wrong. I mean, that's nothing new for my streams. I'm usually wrong about 97% of the time when I say something. Right? Right. Local Nomad also became a 6-month member and says, awesome, Darkness. Glad that they had figured that out. So Local Nomad also now is a 6-month member. So Local Nomad should be getting the new crown as well. But again, I don't know when YouTube will turn that on for you. I wish they would do it soon, but I don't know. And Jake Lasso has become a 6-month member and says, we want the propeller hat. Jake Lasso apparently wants a propeller hat on stream. I don't think that's going to happen, but especially because if you take a look, like I said, sadly, this month we have lost members, not gained. So I don't think we're hitting the goal of 325, but it is what it is. All right. So thank you, everyone, for those memberships. I appreciate the ongoing support. Now it's time for tips. Let's shout out people who have tipped today. We start off with an anonymous tipper who tipped me $10.50 and says, here's to getting the weekend started. I'm looking forward to actually being able to watch the streams. All right. Thank you very much to this anonymous tipper. I appreciate that. Then, an anonymous tipper tipped $25 and says, I hope you have a great day. Thank you for the good streams. You are welcome, anonymous tipper. That is a very generous tip, by the way, and that really jumps us up. $35 in tips to start. Thank you guys so much. Continuing on, CM Fool is here today. Tipped $4.20. Says DSP for 325 members. Goal to 100% stalker run. Mwahahaha. You are a horrible person for suggesting such a thing. I can't believe you would still bring up Stalker on my stream after I played it a year or two ago and it was such an abomination and waste of time. I'm very upset with you, and I appreciate your tip. Okay. Darkness says, Local Nomad brought it up. He says, all we have to do is go to the super chat menu and the option for the message is there. Okay, so if you are on auto renew for your memberships and you wanted to get a pop-up to say, oh, you know, congrats on becoming this anniversary of a member, it should be in your super chat menu, just so everybody knows. There you go. Anso Kamaru has tipped $1.50 here today and says, with the high volume of fantastic games that have released recently, I don't understand you can say nothing amazing has come out for higher attendance. I think it's because there's so many good games out where people are playing instead of watching. I disagree. Again, I literally just went through all the releases. Let's go through it again very briefly, okay? Alan Wake is a remaster of a game that's 11 years old. Super Monkey Ball is a remaster of a game that's 20 years old, right? Far Cry 6 is the newest version of a game that's almost identical to all the other games in the past. Not to say that it's not fun. It absolutely is, and I feel Far Cry 6 is a great, improvement of the franchise, but it's still the same thing that we've seen before, you know? Back 4 Blood is literally the spiritual successor reimagining to a game that's 11 plus years old. Every game I'm playing is either a remaster or it's similar to something we've already played. There's nothing original and new out right now at all. Out of all the games I'm playing, they're all things that we've already seen. No one is going to come to the stream saying, wow, Phil is playing that hot new AAA release and let's get excited. You know, earlier this year I played Resident Evil 8. People came to the streams in droves to watch me play Resident Evil 8. It was a hot new survival horror game, great graphics, new gameplay elements, twists, turns, everything was great with that game, and the attendance was sky high. It's rare when you get that kind of reaction these days because there just isn't that much that's original anymore. You know what I'm saying? So that's the point I'm making. And by the way, I'm not saying these are bad games. Please don't get me wrong. Don't take this the wrong way. I'm not saying these games aren't exciting or interesting or fun. What I'm saying is they're just not big, high-profile releases that people are going to come out in droves to see at a stream. You know what I'm saying? I hope you understand what I'm saying. Okay. Rob on Wheels is here today. Tipped $4.20. Says, I just watched the new Venom movie. I watched the first one yesterday. The back and forth between Eddie and Venom is awesomely hilarious. Eddie, can I eat that guy's head? I have not seen either Venom movie. I've heard very mixed things about them. Some people say because they're so kind of over-the-top silly that they're actually quite entertaining, and others are like, man, they're just ridiculously not serious and not very good. So I guess it really depends on your own personal take. I have not seen them. I can't make a judgment, but I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed them. Thank you very much for the tip, Rob. Chicken Man to me $1.50 says, info on the game's website. The definitive edition will feature across-the-board upgrades, including graphical improvements and modern gameplay enhancements for all 3 titles. All 3 games will be coming to the current generation platforms later this year. So that's from the official website, huh? See, I mean, honestly, you want... Okay, let's be honest here. If you're looking at all the rest of the games that are coming out for the rest of the year, all right? I'm not kidding. There's basically 2 games I'm hyped for. Forza Horizon 5 in early November and Halo Infinite in December. Those are like the 2 games I'm hyped for. Outside of that, what else realistically is coming out this year? Okay. The Dark Pictures Anthology I'm hyped for too. Although admittedly I'm a little nervous it's not going to be as good as Little Hope, because Little Hope was shockingly good to me. And I'm wondering, is House of Ashes going to be another Man of Medan, where it's kind of okay but not great? You see, I'm a little worried about that. But outside of those other 2 releases, I don't necessarily think there's anything else that I'm too hyped for. So if this GTA collection is coming out this year, this may actually be the game I'm most hyped for, because I haven't played the classic GTAs in a while. Replaying them with modern graphics, modern controls and things, you know, people might be very excited for that. And like I told you guys, I'm strongly considering, if it has the licensed soundtracks, just letting it roll and playing it with the music too. I'm thinking, I already did playthroughs of these without the music in the last few years, so I'll just do these with music. Fuck it. You know? So I guess we'll see what happens. Thank you, Chicken Man, for the tip. James has tipped me $3, says, would you like another Far Cry spinoff like Blood Dragon? I don't see why not. Blood Dragon, for those who don't know, was a very silly spinoff. It was supposed to be based in like 1980s fantasy, where there was like neon lights and crazy fucking dragon monsters. And it was the formula of Far Cry in a fantasy world. And I feel it worked because it was so silly, but it had the gameplay mechanics of a game you already were familiar with, you see. But it kind of worked, in my opinion. So, could there be another spinoff like that? Yes, I do think there could be, and it could work. But you got to be careful. For example, Far Cry Blood Dragon worked because it was silly. Then you have a spinoff like Far Cry Primal, and it failed miserably. It wasn't very good at all. You see the difference? Anso Kamaru to me $1.50 says, there's way more games than those. There's tons of titles not on your radar that have come out, or games that you skipped due to time constraints. I fully understand what you mean by big hype releases, but that originality is gone. You see what I mean? You're right. But you see, I think you're agreeing with me then. You're saying the originality is gone. I agree with you. Like, here, okay, what's the one major game that I skipped that everyone is excited for right now? Metroid Dread. You know, Metroid Dread, the game that plays like a game from the early 2000s because it's the spiritual, well, not really, it's the actual direct successor to the Metroidvania line, and it's a Metroid game. You see, it's not original. I think you're seeing my point. Usually around this time of year, this is the time of year when all the big releases come out. Yes, the sequels, but also original games, fun stuff, all gets crammed into a 2-3 month time period. This year, it's not the case. This year, all the games coming out are, like, underwhelming. So, that's my take on it. Again, you could disagree. It looks like a few more people actually realize that they can actually click on their their membership messages. So, shout out to the Danimal, who did a 2-month membership and said, I can confirm it's in the Super Chat section. Parasolo did a 5-month membership and says, Phil, game over screen. And then Barrel Shroud with a 6-month membership says, thanks for letting me chill. Very nice. Okay. Very good. All right, so guys, that's the shout-outs. I don't have any gaming news to talk about today because there is none. There's really nothing going on, you know, gaming news-wise. So I don't have much or anything to really discuss in that regard. Unless you guys, excuse me, unless you guys have some stuff that maybe you'd like to discuss and bring up. Okay. Chicken Man just tipped me another $1.50 and says, please explain how God of War new game and Horizon is new, the ones you're looking for in 2022. Well, God of War, I would argue not so much. Because God of War literally is looking like it's God of War, the same game, only with better graphics maybe and some tweaks. Horizon Forbidden West looks like it's a dramatically improved game. They've added tons of new gameplay elements. The graphics are going to be outstanding and very improved. So there you go. Darkness says asteroids are flying past Earth. Wow. Really? Like right now? Really? What is this? Injustice 3? Oh, so today is going to be that DC Comics online event, and it said they announced that Ed Boon would be part of it, and so everyone is now guessing Injustice 3 is happening, and that we're going to get an announcement today about Injustice 3. Yeah. All right. Sounds good to me. Boy. Okay, anything else? Happy Saturday to you too as well, Lone Wolf. Darziak says a Doctor Who video game came out the other day. It looks pretty bad. A Doctor Who... I didn't even know there was a Doctor Who video game. Huh. Alrighty then. Carlton Jr. says, so far we've seen cinematic trailers for Suicide Squad and the Bat Family games, but no gameplay, stupidly enough. That is true. Oh, really? Ed Boon talked about an Injustice movie? Oh, so there's no Injustice 3? Oh, fucking bullshit. I heard the Injustice movie sucks. They have an Injustice animated movie, and I heard it's absolutely terrible because they tried to cram the entire plot of Injustice into like an hour and a half, and it doesn't work because there's way too many elements to it to make it work in like an hour and a half. So I've heard the animated movie absolutely blows. So that, if that's the announcement, that does suck. That stinks. I hope that's not the case, but it very well could be. Right? Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. Alright. Guys, I think that's it, right? Let's take a break. I'm going to use the restroom. I'm sure you guys will either grab a drink or a snack, use the restroom yourselves, whatever it is you need to do, right? I shall return shortly. The continuation of Far Cry 6, which should be a good time. Like I said, open world exploration, perhaps finishing up the storyline of the Monteros. I'm not sure if we're going to finish it up today or not, but we have to kill 2 more lieutenants, and there's one more mission, and then I believe it's actually like, you know, moving on maybe to another part of the island, totally new location and stuff, which would be nice if that's the case. So I guess we'll find out. Okay. All right, ladies and gents, thank you. I shall see you after the break. Thanks.